What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Showdown Breakdown, Where My Turds At show. We are looking at the Browns at the Steelers Monday Night Football. Where My Turds At. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Kevin Allen, a.k.a. the Geek from DFS Army. I got my man with me, Bobbywow, a.k.a. Bobby Moneybags, a.k.a. Bobby Millions, a.k.a. Bobby Takedowns, because all he does is take downs the tournaments. What's up, Bobbywow?
Hey. I mean, speaking of takedowns, Geek, how about last night?
Last night was a good one. Every once in a while, you go from a showdown breakdown to a showdown takedown.
Oh, man, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice. Last night, you know what's funny, Bobbywow, is I think this might be the lineup I made on the showdown.
That's crazy.
I put one together, or it could have been just like really close. I only wound up handcrafting 3 lineups on DraftKings last night, and this never happens. Actually, it always seems to happen. I've won more money with my handcrafts, I hate to say it, than MMEing by a lot. And I only made 3 lineups, all very similar. I had one like this one here and the same exact one with Martez Valdez-Scantling instead of Lazard.
Yep.
But, you know, we had a lot of things that we liked. You and I talked about A.J. Dillon on the show yesterday. Or you weren't on it with me, were you?
I wasn't. I did notes, but I wasn't on the show.
Okay. All right. So in your notes, it emphasized it. Josh, DFSupNORTH, behind the scenes DM. I feel like we're all together even when we're not.
Yeah.
And just so people know, we're all strategizing together for these. Even when I don't have DFSupNORTH Josh or Bobbywow on the breakdown with me, we're all talking behind the scenes about this stuff. So we talked about how much we loved A.J. Dillon. And actually, I was trying to make versions of this lineup that had Jones and Dillon because I love the double running back approach.
We did.
I talked about it.
Dalvin Cook fade on the other end. We love that
fade.
too.
Yeah, it was an easy fade. So the whole point of last night's slate was to assume we've got some onslaughts coming from the Packers because, you know, the information was Mannion, he done got it, right? He ain't got it. And it was true. And that really worked out. So we move on.
It was so funny, Geek. I got to tell you. So people were messaging me last night. They're like, hey, thanks for the notes. Thanks for the pod. It was amazing. They're sending me screenshots of winning. And one of the guys was like, I swear I didn't copy the lineup that Geek did in the pod. So it must have been that one.
It definitely was that. We had a few people win. I don't know for sure, Bobbywow, but like I only put 3 in. And by the way, the slap lineup I did on FanDuel on the pod also cashed, almost won the FanDuel tournament. It cashed very highly. It was like number 32. I remember I put it in a $55 contest. So I didn't tie it with too many people because if they're in it, they're usually doing the 3. Like most of the watchers are doing the 3 or the 1. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I don't mind. I don't know. I never feel like it's like, yeah, super. Yeah, here he is. He was watching the show. No, it was a sweet chop yesterday. It was an awesome when we had a bunch of members actually take first in various contests in the mini max and a bunch of different ones. And so it was great. It was great. But now we move on and we've got the Steelers taking on the Browns. And Bobbywow, this is a really interesting game because there was a massive line movement away from the Browns into the Steelers yesterday, right?
Huge.
It went from Browns favored by 2 to Steelers 2.5-point favorites as of right now. And I've been sitting here like, what the fuck happened? Why? And I think I've got it figured out. Why did the line move? So
tell me.
Number 1, the Browns were eliminated from playoff contention.
Yes, I think that's the big piece.
But there's a second component to it. I think that there is some suspicion. Baker Mayfield has been playing hurt most of the season. He's got some sort of shoulder harness thing. He's hurt. He's obviously not playing well. And it could be something to do with that injury to the shoulder. He's wearing a harness. You know, I'm not a doctor. What the fuck do I know beyond that? But I think the suspicion is What if they decide, you know what? He's hurt. We're out of the playoffs. Let's put Case Keenum
in. And so you're thinking they could just say that mid-game, not necessarily before the game.
I don't know. I would have thought they would say it before the game. Actually, now I don't think they're going to say that because you would have heard something. I don't know. I'm really trying to figure this out, but I've never seen line movement like that just based on the team isn't in the playoffs anymore. Like, what the fuck is that? Why does that matter? I don't know. It's just a theory. Because he's hurt and they're out of the playoffs. Could it be? I don't know.
It could be. So here's my question about that then. I think there's a betting angle for sure, but from a DFS perspective, do we fade Baker and or do we play more Case Keenum than we normally would?
If Baker's starting, I'm not playing Case Keenum.
Okay. I'm with you.
I think that would be a decision you would make before the game. As far as fading Baker, I pretty much always fade Baker. Like, I don't know, it doesn't change my decision making, right? Are you not fading Baker? Like, what are we crazy? He stinks. Why would you not fade Baker?
It feels like the obvious move. The only reason I don't feel 100% about it is because the Browns absolutely hate the Steelers. The Browns hate the Steelers, and I think they'll do everything they can to win and make sure the Steelers don't go to the playoffs tonight. That's the only thing holding me back.
Steelers hate the Browns. Ben Roethlisberger's last home game. This could be Baker Mayfield's last game as a Brown in Pittsburgh. That's not significant. That doesn't matter. But it's Roethlisberger's last home game ever, and there's some narrative around that. I've also looked up some betting angles, and then essentially Ben Roethlisberger has personally owned the Browns throughout his career at home. Like his record is ridiculous. And against the spread and the money line, it's ridiculous. Like the amount of times the Steelers have just beaten the Browns at home frequently. But again, that's kind of like looking at the Jets and the Patriots. Like, so what? So
yeah. What? I think Steelers money line is a lock here. I think for all the reasons, for the playoff reasons, Mike Tomlin wins these football games. He's a good coach.
Games. Yeah,
good coaches win these games.
Betting this one should avoid the -2 and pay the juice for the money line. Just because, can't you see the game being within 3 points at the end? Like, you don't want to give the 2.5. I like the money line concept.
Take the money line.
Yeah, but all the money in the world. Right now, I checked the handles on the Sharp app, and all of the money. It's one of the awesome features of the Sharp app, by the way. You have betting handles on there, so you know where the public is and where the sharps are. It's like it's the best information. Like, it's great info that you need for making bet decisions. And I checked it, and everything, money, public, everything is on the Steelers, which is crazy because it's such a swing. But let's get into this breakdown, Bobbywow. So one thing I want to show you is the power ranking sheet before we actually get into it, because this sheet is a new tool we have over at DFS Army, and it's fucking awesome. It's added on to our main power rankings tab that will tell you certain expectations. Like, for example, here, this shows that we should get about 170 total rushing yards from Cleveland, but only 191 passing yards. This is leveled off for all these different factors. Can you
Geek, I know this seems a little bit redundant, but can you just like click through from the main site so people know where to go?
Oh, yeah.
I know it's easy, but
afterwards.
Just so everyone knows where it's located at. That'd be helpful because
so essentially, when you're on the main website, the power rankings tool is right here. Click it there, and you get to your power rankings. And this tab down. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. I can't make you. How do I shift us? Oh, I know what to do. Okay, so there we go. This tab right here is what we want.
Okay, beautiful.
That'll take you to this sheet. That's a very important sheet. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go back to the DOM station with this tab and go over to here. So what this shows you is that the Browns look to rush for 170 yards. So lots of rushing yardage in tap for the Browns, or at least that's what's expected and projected here. And you can't see it that well on YouTube, but it's very low yardage totals, 191 passing yards for Cleveland, 207 for Pittsburgh. Very low totals, all of that. Actually, the power rankings do like Cleveland in this game, which is understandable considering how both teams have played throughout the season. And if you break it down by this last tab over here, you can see that this is broken down by DK fantasy points. And it shows here that the Cleveland running backs should be expected to get 33.1 fantasy points. The Cleveland quarterback, only 12. Pittsburgh quarterback, only 15. So the projections are not good for the passing game, but especially not the Cleveland passing game. And let me take that a step further as we go to the matchup sheet, Bobbywow. Normally, those projection numbers are dog shit, right? So you're like, I can't play these passing games. But here's the thing. On Pittsburgh, at least most of the targets go to one guy. So even with kind of a poor, and let me see if I can make this bigger here so you can see it a little better. Even with like poor overall yardage totals, Deontay Johnson's getting 25% of the targets. You know, Claypool at 15%. Freiermuth, I expect this to go up, but he's been at 12% for the season. So it's those three guys that are your primaries. And then you've got the mix of James Washington and Ray McLeod.
Yep.
As your secondaries on Pittsburgh. And that's how it goes. Najee Harris, the only running back, he will get his work. So of this group, for me, obviously Deontay Johnson is almost lock button for me. I love Deontay every single week. He's always my guy. Never changes. And I think I love Freiermuth quite a bit here. Cleveland's been vulnerable to tight ends for years. Do you have a preference, Bobbywow, between Washington and Ray?
I don't know that I have a specific preference. I mean, I like James Washington for some reason, and so he has an edge for me. I think him and Ben have a really solid rapport, and we've seen him have some decent weeks, but I know that DFS Up North likes Ray a little bit more. So I don't know that there's a super big lean one way or another. They're both relatively equal, all things considered.
Washington's a little cheaper.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah. There's a salary difference on Washington that makes it more interesting. Washington's probably more GPP only. If Washington's catching two passes, one of them is probably a 40-yard touchdown.
True.
He plays the Darius Hayward slay role.
It's interesting. So Washington's a little more expensive on FanDuel than McLeod is.
Yeah, he's cheaper on DraftKings by a bit. McLeod is hanging around in the kicker zone.
Interesting.
You know how I feel about the kicker zone. You know, you saw what happened yesterday.
Yep.
Saw it.
And it's been happening more and more, it feels like. This has been the craziest year for kickers.
It's not crazy. You know what's gone on, Bobbywow? There's a reason for this. You want to hear it? I will give you a logical reason for it.
Is it pricing?
Yeah.
Huh.
Late in the season, we're not getting the $1,000 guy that's popping off for 12 points most of these slates, right? So where's Ray? Ray's up in the kicker zone. Now you're kind of like, wait a minute. Ray, what's his best case scenario? Like a 10? You know, short yardage, 5 receptions, 50 yards. Okay, great. He got you 10. Well, the kicker can get you 10. If Ray's priced at 1,800 and he gets you 10, that's an edge over the kicker. You have to judge players based around the kicker price because the kicker's like a 10-pointer. So it's like, all right, can this guy's a turd. Which turd am I messing with? Sorry, I just want any excuse I can to put my screenshot up.
No, I think that's really, really valid info, though, and that's super, super important.
But I presented it with my screenshot.
Yeah, I know. I think
purposefully,
even better,
to remind you that I
proof
won.
Of concept, Geek.
But understand, that's what's going on. I think you don't have the turd for 600. He's 3K. Right. Well, the kicker's 3K. Now the turd needs to score. You can't just pick a turd. You got to pick a good turd that scores more than the kicker.
Yep.
So big difference between a $1,200 guy. Okay. All right. I don't even know where. All right.
And is it fair to say that this feels even more exaggerated on DraftKings and FanDuel?
It
Not
is.
that they're bad plays on FanDuel, but DraftKings even more so. Like kickers are key when pricing looks like this.
Yes, but also remember, FanDuel prices up the kickers appropriately, where DraftKings does not. So
yes,
you also like a Ray 5 receptions, 50 yards on FanDuel doesn't come anywhere near the kicker score because that's only like a 6 or a 7, whereas on DraftKings that might be a 9. So or it's a 10 on DraftKings, a 7.5 on FanDuel. So like the kicker tends to score more than 7 fantasy points. And especially in a game like this, this is exactly the kind of game, by the way, we spend a lot of time talking about kickers, but this is the kind of game where the kicker can really go off. Both teams are good defensively. Both teams are running. They're a little sloggy offensively. We've seen them pop off, but more likely than not, Najee Harris isn't getting in the end zone. The Steelers are stopping Chubb, and Cleveland can't pass for touchdowns as well. So you're going to get these kicking games, a lot of kicks, a lot of field goals, potentially. I'm really high on the field goal kickers in this one. All right, let's slide over to Cleveland.
Yeah, so interesting, Geek. Because even looking at you just popped a red zone scoring thought in my head. Steelers are bottom of the league, but Cleveland's top 10 in red zone touchdown percentage. That surprised me a little bit.
They're smashing in touchdowns with their tight ends and with their running backs.
Yeah.
Which I think brings us to the whole focus of the Cleveland offense. They're either going to try to smash the touchdown with Chubb or Hunt. Hunt is back. Don't know how much he's going to play. It makes it a little weird. Right? We don't know. He's been out for a long time. COVID, every buzzword of bad is on Hunt in this game. But they're either smashing it. The hard part about Cleveland is they are going to throw to these 3 tight end turds, and there's literally no way of really predicting with any sort of like comfort which one of them is the best of them. Hunter and Njoku are the leads, with Harrison Bryant sort of like the guy who scored a touchdown last week.
Yeah, if it's me, Geek, I'm not chasing Bryant. He's the one guy. He's the third wheel, the guy that's left out. So I'll be on Hooper and Njoku just because they're the primary pass catching guys anyway. I don't even know that a touchdown gets you there if he just falls in the end zone.
It might get you there on FanDuel for 5K. It might. It's not probably going to get you there on DraftKings. So
yeah, and he's 7K on FanDuel.
Oh, he's 7. Oh, he's not 5K.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's part of why that
salary's
I feel
important.
That way.
I figured he'd be 5K. Fucking FanDuel
should be. Even DraftKings, he's over 2,000. I think it's crazy, man.
No, that again, a little too close to the kicker. You don't want to fly too close to the kicker zone.
He's 3,000.
Yeah, no. Okay, so that's good to know. But Hooper and Njoku probably. I'll see what their salaries are. But, when the Browns are throwing for touchdowns, it's usually those guys who are involved. And then, of course, you've got all of the wide receivers back, Landry, People-Jones, and Higgins. And I think they are all mediocre to bad plays. But we need them because it's a showdown. And, who else are you going to play? So you got to play these type of guys. Isn't it interesting, the target percentage? Take a look at it last week. Not that it's that relevant, but it's pretty even. And it's pretty even. It looks even on the season, but Landry missed a ton of the season to achieve this. Landry still is the primary target as a wide receiver. And the Steelers actually are kind of bad against slot wide receivers. So, Landry is my favorite. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, it'll be really interesting with Kareem Hunt back to see how that shakes out, because now a team that doesn't really pass all that often has more passing targets funneled to a running back. And so, yeah, of all those guys, Landry is the best. But like you said, with Cleveland, it's hard to be excited about any of them.
It's the turd soup, the Cleveland side.
Yep.
Steelers, we can focus in on Najee. We could focus in on Deontay, and Freiermuth really is that's the trio. And, a little Claypool, Washington, but the trio, the prime trio we can focus in on. It's really hard to focus in on any of these guys for Cleveland. I do have a question for you. And what do you think the effect of Kareem Hunt's return is? It's not like the guy has been playing. He's coming off a long-term injury, had COVID. There's all kinds of problems with Hunt. Do you think it's even a threat to Chubb?
I think so. I do. I think it limits the ceiling a little bit. I know DFSupNORTH's not worried about it, so take my thought for what it is, but it has to take a little bit away. Now you've got another guy, even if he's only on the field for 30 or 30% of the snaps. I don't know. I don't see how that could actually help Chubb. If anything, it feels like it would hurt him, right?
I mean, it doesn't. It definitely doesn't help Chubb in my mind. Does it hurt him? Normally, Hunt does hurt Chubb a little bit, but it's not like we saw any difference really in Chubb's workload anyway. They've been giving those other touches to Dearness Johnson and Felton a little bit. So it's not, I don't think it makes that monstrous of a difference. If that makes any kind of sense, like, yeah, he's still kind of getting 50, 60% snaps. They're not giving Chubb 90%, even when Hunt was out.
And I guess for me, maybe what it comes down to is it might make me like Chubb a little bit less as captain on DraftKings. I think that might be the only piece that's affected by Kareem Hunt being back.
That's fair.
For me.
That's fair. I don't know why DFSupNORTH isn't bothered by Hunt coming. I guess in a showdown, it doesn't matter that much. I don't want a lot of Hunt today. I'm assuming that FanDuel has him overpriced and crazy. Probably my guess would be 11K on FanDuel or 10.5 or something like that.
He's only 9K.
Oh, there it is. All right. So they didn't do that. And DraftKings, what, in the 5 to 6 range? So got to look at
I thought he was a little more expensive. No, for 5,400. You're right.
Yeah, there he is. So, it's not. They did price him reasonably. So you got to have some exposure on FanDuel at 9K and on DraftKings in the 5,500 range. Also, I guess you get a little bit of exposure, but I'm not getting too excited. I just think a guy coming off a long-term injury, they're just not likely to lean heavy on him.
Agreed.
All right. So what else about Cleveland to discuss? I think that covers them. The only other angle, obviously, is, we'll get into it in the game breakdown, but Baker Mayfield's been playing really bad. So we have, take that for what it's worth. Baker Mayfield has been playing terrible. And, of course I shut that sheet down. That's what happens. You asked me to open up a window.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure, because it's a good tool. I just want to make sure people knew how to get there.
All right. And guys, as a reminder, as I'm opening these tools up that we have over at DFS Army, make sure you get signed up at DFS Army right now. I think that, I don't know if our New Year's promotion is still going. I'm not going to mention it, but if it's not, just get it over there. Sign up with promo code Geek. You get VIP. You can get 10% off. You get the Domination Station Optimizer. All our tools. We're going to the playoff season. Playoff season is my favorite time of year for football. You don't even know. I love the 3 gamers. I love the 2 game. We got another 2 gamer this weekend on Saturday. These are the best slates. By the way, people are like, whoa, the season's over, right? I don't need to sign up. 1 weekend of playoff football, that's like 5 weeks of regular NFL. There's so many slates, showdowns. Every game is a showdown. There are 3 game slates, 1, 2 of them. Those are better than main slates. It's like a lab for, ownership leverage. I love it.
Yep.
We're going to kill those slates. You want to get in now. As a matter of fact, let me show you one other thing before we get into this. If you don't want to pay, because a lot of people watch this Bobbywow and they're like, I'm not paying for advice. I go to YouTube and I get this channel and I enjoy your show. It's great, but I don't pay for advice. That's not how I roll. I say, okay, don't pay. We have a button here for the free offer. You just sign up for like any of the sites that sponsor us, Super Draft, Owner's Box, Prize Picks, and we have tools for those sites. You kill it on those sites. Monkey Knife Fight. Any one of them through the link right there. I'm showing it on screen. Just through that link. Just click it. You get a free month. Sometimes you get 2 free months. Do 2, 3 of those offers. Get a bunch of free months. Email us. I'll add more because I like you. Just for you. One time only. Special every day. Gino's paying. He knows what's up. Gino's one of our new guys. I feel like Gino is watching the show and he's like, fuck it, I got to join. Because, he's active in the Discord now. There we go. All right.
I love it.
Anyway, we love having you, Gino. All of you guys. All right. Where are we? Monday Night Football. DraftKings. So let's talk captains on on DraftKings. And this is the DFS Up North. So the DFS Up North cheat sheet for this one. And of course, it is DraftKings. And notice, see, he loves to put the quarterback names on there. You guys are one of these days, you guys are just going to fucking suck it up and stop putting the quarterbacks in there. Playing this guy.
Because here's why. Like it's viable. When I put captains in, it's who could be the nuts? Who could be? That's it. They could be the nuts. Very unlikely in this game.
They could be. But yes, they could be. I will tell. So Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, Nick Chubb. Very obvious, all three of them. Deontay gonna get peppered with targets, 10 targets a game, most games. What more can you ask? Fits the style. Najee Harris, I don't know. You always got to get the running back in there. That's a pass catching running back. Price point about the same as Deontay. And then Chubb is priced up there. What's your take on these three guys? Which one are you doing the most of?
It's probably Deontay for me. Harris has really, really struggled. He came out of the gate super strong to start the season. And then as the Steelers have gotten worse, Najee Harris has gotten worse and worse. So I'm not as excited about him as Deontay Johnson. And I think the Browns might be able to bottle up Najee enough to limit his ceiling. So Deontay is probably my first choice. Chubb is really, really expensive, but he's number 2, and then Najee would be number 3.
Yeah, I mean, the projection models say Chubb should have a smash game. But all of the money shifting over to the Steelers, that's got me messed up for the running game of the Browns a little bit. But I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's Deontay, maybe then Harris, then Chubb in that order, or you could flip Chubb and Harris. But Deontay's the guy I'm going to be the most comfortable pulling the trigger for of this group. As usual, I will personally not have on DraftKings any of Ben or Baker as my captain. And if you ask why, it's again, if Baker's going off, Jarvis Landry's going off harder. Like, I'm just going to play Jarvis or that guy. Or maybe it's not like, all right, so let me ask you this, Bobbywow. How comfortable are you? And let me throw this up on the Dom station so you could see it. Let's look at the projected ownership column for captain, right? So you got Chubb the highest. Then here, interesting. Okay, so how about this, Bobbywow? Chubb the highest projected, followed by Najee, followed by Deontay. We talked about that. Here's your wasted 8% on Baker Mayfield. Here's your wasted. This is your what do you call it? That's the VIG. That's the 15% VIG right there. 15%. So right after those guys, Jarvis Landry, Steelers defense, People Jones, Browns defense, Ray McLeod is on the list. So of these non-primary captain guys, which ones are you going to take a stab at, Bobbywow? Which one are you like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to throw a little Chase Claypool, C. Clizzles up there. I'm going to throw a little, Friarmouth. A little bit of that.
Yeah, I think it's Chase Claypool for me. I mean, I guess disclaimer, I think this is a slate where you brute force again. Like, this feels like I'm loading up on Chubb, I'm loading up on Johnson, I'm loading up on Najee, maybe those 3 guys. And then I'm mixing in the turds behind them.
You got to get Jarvis in there.
Sure. I guess all I'm saying is I don't know that this is a slate to get cute with captain. If I am, it's Chase Claypool.
What about Njoku broke a showdown this season?
Yeah, I mean, I'd much prefer him in the flex. I don't know. I can't get there as captain.
He did break a showdown, though.
He did. You're right.
Or a main slate, actually. And it was a Millie Maker. I don't know if it was a showdown. It was a main slate. He broke 33 points. I think you can throw in a little bit of those guys because I think you can throw in a little bit of them because who the fuck you can't. I mean, you want to just brute force it with Nick Chubb, 35%, 40%.
It's easier on FanDuel to do that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's DraftKings. The pass catchers cross 100 yards. They could do some damage. Steve is asking about some discussion. So the Baker thing is very simple. I talked about this at the beginning. He's hurt, clearly. He's got the shoulder, but he's been plagued through it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so the question is, now that they've essentially missed the playoffs for sure, will they sit him? But I think an interesting counterpoint, Bobbywow, and you kind of mentioned this too, and some other people did, was, the Browns hate to steal. I don't think that if they're going to bench the quarterback and let him heal, maybe they'll just wait till next week. Like, are they really going to purposefully go up against the hated Steelers with their backup? It feels like a stretch. I don't know. So, yeah, Ray. We know about Ray. I don't think Ray is a good captain. Bobbywow, who? How do we win the million?
I think it's with one of these super turds, right? Like I was just checking up to make sure Baker's still in. It looks like he's going to play. I think you got to get.
I checked Twitter. I didn't see anything that said otherwise.
You got to play, like, my favorite guys down here to rotate in. I do have some. It's going to sound crazy. I have some Benny Snell interest. I think he's a candidate. Really, the cheapest viable turd on the slate. Finally, seems like he's the actual RB2. Got 20% of the snaps last week. I like getting some of him because, even if Najee doesn't get hurt, he's getting some run, could catch a couple passes. I know DFSupNORTH likes Anthony Schwartz a lot. He's projected to be under 3% owned. And then James Washington is another guy that I'll be overweight on. So I think those three guys, you rotate those guys in, and that's how you win the million right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this, these are the only three. Remember, we talked about the kicker zone, the bad place. Fly too close to the kicker, you need to put up good numbers to pay off. So when you're getting out of the kicker zone, it's these three guys, and I don't love any of them. There's Zach Gentry, just showed up.
Yeah, he's not cheap enough, really.
No, and he doesn't get much play as a pass catcher. So here's your turd zone, and the only kind of viable, mildly acceptable plays below the kicker level, I would say. Now you got Ray priced the same as the kicker. So Ray priced the same as the kicker. He needs to get 11, 12 fantasy points just to beat out, Chase McLaughlin or Chris Boswell. It's not good. Be aware of that as you're building your lineup. Like, Chris Boswell's probably going to score 7 minimum, maximum 13 to 16.
Sure.
So you play this turd down here. He needs to outscore Boswell or McLaughlin. Turd zone. We'll talk about it. We'll see as we make a lineup how that all comes together. Yeah, Green Bay kicker had 13, but that's like what the kickers do. It's not like he had a special game. It's usually about 11. You usually get between 9 to 13 from a kicker. So you got to be aware that those turds in the same price zone as the kicker need to actually do quite a bit, versus like when you get an $800 turd, he gets you 6 fantasy points, and that was enough. So that to me is the lesson of today's Showdown breakdown, I think. As far as putting lineups together, Bobbywow, are you comfortable doing no quarterback lineups, neither quarterback?
Yeah, I think so. Why not? I'll be way underweight on Baker Mayfield for sure. It looks like he's projected at 40% ownership. I'll be half that at most. So right off the bat, I'm underweight on him. And I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, I like him in this game, but the truth is he hasn't really done much of anything this season. So absolutely, that's viable.
All right. I'm going to ask, I don't have a great answer for Cliff here. I'm going to go to the Watson AI computer to see if we can play Schwartz. This is from IBM, a product we pay for over at DFS Army. It's actually a lot of money. Very, very expensive. Most of the dues cover this. It's the IBM Watson supercomputer, where we can ask questions, DFS questions, and get an answer in song, which is extra beneficial. So, IBM Watson, can we play Schwartz at captain? Is he a good play for this slate?
Hell no, to the no, no, no.
Totally unbiased answer right there from the Watson artificial intelligence. It's a no. It's a no.
Yeah, I think people too are talking about Donovan Peoples-Jones. Absolutely. If you're going to take some shots on Landry, you can definitely take some shots on DPJ as well.
Alexa is always listening. I'm just letting you know. Alexa's always listening. If Alexa feels we got something wrong, Alexa will correct us. All right. No Schwartz at captain. Yeah, you don't want turds catching passes from turds. That's just too many turds. It gets slippery. Somebody asked about Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think both Donovan Peoples-Jones and Rashad Higgins as backup wide receivers, as like the number 3, 4, or 5 option in a low volume passing offense. These guys are all the same guy. They're basically, you play like 10 or 12% of each of them, mix them around, and maybe one of them will pop off. What do you think, Bobbywow?
Yeah, I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is probably a step above Higgins, and he's had some really big games this season. So even one with Landry, I don't mind it. And here's the thing too, like it's going to be somewhat cold in Pittsburgh. They're going to, these defenses like to hit people, and it's certainly within the realm of possibility that a Jarvis Landry or a Deontay Johnson tweaks something, as it feels like they've done several times this season. If they do that, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Higgins, Ray McLeod, these guys all of a sudden bubble up to the top and have a huge shot at being in the nuts. Yeah. So
you need enough built around a core. Here, of course, it's a $20 contest tonight. Even after I won last night's tournament, I don't like doing $20 entries into these showdowns. But let's see if there's one. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's throw one together here.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to try not to fully complete the lineup because I don't want everybody to use the same lineup, but I like the kickers in this one. So let's say we start with Deontay. Is there a $9 one? I don't think it's too much, Willem, to leave on the table, but let's see how it comes together. So Deontay Johnson starting point, right? You and I both agree that's probably our combined favorite guy to throw in there. I think he's the safest. I think he's also the cash guy.
Yep.
All right. So where do we go after that? Landry is $8,400. He's very expensive.
Get Nick Chubb in there.
You want to get Chubb in there. So this is more of like a lock type situation. Okay. All right. Let's get the kickers in. I can't talk as much as I did about kickers without playing the kickers. That would just be really hypocritical. So I'm going to throw Boswell in there. The Boz leaves us 6,200. Now we're in a trouble zone here. We've got 6,200 left, and there's a lot of overpriced guys on this slate in general. All right, I do like Freiermuth. How about him? Now we need to play one of these turdly.
Geek, I don't even hate Kareem Hunt at that price.
In the 5,400 range. I mean, if we're going to hang around in this zone, the problem is if you
look
play
at
Peoples-Jones.
Peoples-Jones is only 5K. He's priced below Higgins.
Yeah, I think Peoples-Jones is the better play. And then you get up to 7,200, and you can get Claypool. I don't like Claypool with Freiermuth and Deontay. Yeah, is that too much?
I don't know. Not necessarily.
And the kicker. If this was a cash lineup, I would go double kicker. And then you could get, Jarvis in there. I like this. You know what? I don't normally go double kicker, Bobbywow. I don't mind this approach right here. Double kicker, both WR1s, only one RB1. Oh, and everybody's pushing for Gentry.
People love Gentry tonight.
I mean, my goodness, the comments. I am not making that rule, JD. So I make that rule every single showdown. That is like a normal rule that I make. I look at this game as one where we could have a little kicker battle. If the wind conditions, if there's anything out there that tells me otherwise, I don't have any weather information. As a matter of fact, half the guys here in Cleveland and Pittsburgh are like the same place. Is there weather tonight? Is there weather conditions?
No.
No weather conditions?
No. It'll be 35 degrees, partly cloudy, 5-mile-an-hour winds.
5 mile per hour? All right. So I'm cool with this. I'm going to do this one as our example lineup for this one. It spent every penny. It's not winning. The last time a 0 left, it's very unusual that would win, but I kind of like that as a lineup. As far as FanDuel, let's take a quick look here. And FanDuel, again, it's what do we know about FanDuel, Bobbywow?
Quarterbacks and running backs are king.
Quarterbacks and running backs are king on FanDuel, right? They score more points than wide receivers do. So if you take a look at DFSupNORTH's sheet, it's, of course, running backs and quarterbacks, and that's it. Again, I would add Deontay Johnson to my mix here. I don't mind taking like 5% shots with Deontay, maybe like a couple of these guys that give you a chance. If it's Chubb or Harris or Roethlisberger or Baker, I feel like you're in a tie with 150, 250 people.
Yeah, probably. I mean, unless you're playing these turds. One of these turds has to score.
Even with the turd, though. If it's like a Chubb lineup, you're probably in a tie. It'll be covered, very well covered. So Chubb looks like 22% MVP. Wow, I got to see this. Hold on a second. Who the hell are people owning? By the way, for those of you guys who do DFS without tools and win, more power to you. I'm amazed by it. Wait, the game's not even loaded, so that doesn't help. Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. It's loaded. To do this without tools, I don't even understand how you do it. So, all right, Chubb 22%, Harris 16%, Mayfield and Ben 10% each, Deontay 10, and then you've got all the sort of turds coming in this zone. Even Kareem Hunt in the mix. Even Njoku.
Jesus.
Props, my man. Like I said, props. It's like playing DFS with a hand tied behind your back to not have ownership projections. I find it fascinating.
I would say it's the most important piece of my DFS research.
Yeah, I'm okay if you like without projections per se. Football is very, very wide spread of outcomes, but it's hard without ownerships. Ownerships really help you leverage in a really important way to try to take down tournaments. So let's go back to our cheat sheet here. So Chubb, Harris. Oh, they definitely don't translate to wins all the time. It just helps you. Yeah, just having tools does not force you to win. Absolutely not. No, but it helps you. It helps you apply strategies that can lead to tournament wins. So do you have a favorite here? I mean, is it Chubb? Is it just hey, let's just play Chubb?
Yeah, Chubb's the most obvious one. There's no getting around that. I do. You're going to hate me. I think Ben Roethlisberger, sub 10%, is at least intriguing on FanDuel.
I don't mind it on FanDuel. I play the quarterbacks on FanDuel. So FanDuel has the different scoring system. The quarterbacks are definitely much more viable. Ben has popped off a few games this year. So I don't mind Ben. I don't mind him at all. He can throw one to Washington. I want Ben with 2 of his pass catchers when I play him there. I almost want Baker with like 3 pass catchers. Like,
oh, geez. No way. Get out of here.
No, but I'm saying he's got to be with 2 guys also. If I'm playing either of these quarterbacks, I am making a rule plus 2 pass catchers. For Ben, Najee Harris is considered a pass catcher. For Baker, pretty much Kareem Hunt would be the only guy I would leave off the list for Baker is Chubb.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Here's I love this. Dude, you don't follow tools. Tools are there to guide you. If you're following the tools, you're always going to lose money. You don't follow tools. Knowing what the ownership projections is a guide that helps you. It's not telling you what to do. That's the difference. Very important to differentiate. People think that when they have an optimizer, that the only way to play DFS is to click the button because I paid for an optimizer. That is not the correct approach. What if it's an epic shootout for Ben's last game? I could see it, Dan. I was talking about this before, that last year we had a couple of incredible pop-off games, I think, between these two teams towards the end of the season, where they just went bananas. And we saw the game with the Steelers at the Chargers, which just went crazy. Every once in a while, Ben Roethlisberger will be a part of a game that just goes bananas. Like, you know what I'm talking about? It's like a Ben Roethlisberger thing.
Yep.
They're down and they're coming back. Other times he just looks like shit. That's age. Listen, what are you going to do? But you have to account for that. In the Ben goes crazy, that's when you do the Ben +2. That's when it's not just Deontay going off. It's Deontay and Claypool, maybe 3. Freiermuth.
Yeah, and everyday things too. Same point that Geek just made. Look, Baker Mayfield can get it done. He's hurt, but we also know there's still talent there. And so my guess is on FanDuel, he'll be sub 8% owned when the final stuff rolls in. So absolutely, he's in play. We just said it. Quarterbacks are king on FanDuel. Get some Baker Mayfield if you feel like the Browns are going to throw the football and keep up.
Yeah, the Browns stink, though, at throwing the football most of the time. And I think the Ben, I'd rather play, if you give me the choice, I'd rather play Ben than Baker in this spot.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I'm way overweight on Ben.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think we talked about it earlier in the season. If there is a running back or a quarterback that's showing up at 10% or lower on FanDuel, that should immediately catch your attention. Always
got to play it. Running backs too. I mean, we've done it every single one. So all day. So we're going to make a lineup in a minute, but let's take a look at the turd zone a little bit here. So Chubb 16K. I mean, they priced them right. They priced the quarterbacks below the running backs, which is big and not how they normally do it on FanDuel, by the way. Deontay 13K, a little bit of drop off. We want touchdown scorers on FanDuel. So, Claypool could score touchdowns even though he hasn't this year. Freiermuth at 9,500, definitely a touchdown guy. Kareem Hunt 9K, sure, why not? Kickers, we like them. Chase. Hooper at 8K. Ooh, I like that price point for Hooper. I don't know if it's going to be so easy to make lineups here. Rashad Higgins at 6,500, viable.
FD core from Josh. That's bold, baby. Higgins.
What? Oh, FD core. Rashard Higgins at... Yeah, you know what? I didn't see it, but he's outrageously priced as right. He is the WR3. He'll split with Schwartz a little bit. Yeah, he'll split with Schwartz a little bit. I'm intrigued by Schwartz here. Slowly getting back to the speed. Missing a bunch of weeks. They like him. Schwartz is a speed guy. He's a fast runner. I remember he's a rookie this year. Coming out,
Yep.
They said he's not a route runner. He's just a fast guy. One-dimensional. Baker can't throw deep. Shoulder harness. You think AB's going to be at the game? That'd be awesome if he shows up like shirtless. That'd be awesome. All right, let's check out FanDuel and let's see what we can do here. AB just running around shirtless in the crowd, in the audience, not breaking laws, just like running around in the stands, high-fiving everybody. Oh, they would love him. Like a goodbye to Antonio Brown for the Steelers fans. That'd be awesome. So more and more people talking about Schwartz. Schwartz getting more reps. They want to get a look at him. Again, they have nothing to play for. Could be wishful thinking, but it could be where there's smoke, there's fire. Let's go with it.
Yep.
Okay. Schwartz.
Josh likes both. Josh likes both those guys. So
throw him in the mix.
That means I like both those guys.
Throw him in the mix. don't go 70% on that, dude, man. I hope that's not Schwartz. Like, go like 10% or 15%. You know, don't go 70% on a guy like that. All right, so let's see here. Let's say you put Chubb. I don't love the single entry because Chubb has such a wide range of outcomes. One of Chubb's range of outcomes is like getting like a 7. That's within his AB. I had a ton of AB also, dude. Yeah, don't get that. That was unfortunate. We are not able to predict mental breakdowns.
God,
can't predict them. So I'm setting up a lineup here, Bobbywow. Chubb, Freiermuth, Boswell. That leaves us 12,750. So this approach does not allow me to get 2 quarterbacks in there. Oh, man. No Najee Harris. I don't like that. I'm not putting this one in. No Najee Harris. No Deontay Johnson. Can you make... no. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably, if I'm doing that lineup, it's probably Claypool instead of Landry. But it's dicey.
I don't know if I like these salaries or the way this is setting up on FanDuel at all. I think you have to play Chubb. The Steelers have been bad against the run. Yeah, fucking Javad remembers. By the way, that was when I did hit pig. And I just want to point out, this was last year in the playoffs. And I had Roethlisberger with all 3 of his wide receivers in that game. And they all went off. Juju, Claypool, and Deontay. And they all went off. That was, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This game played out in the playoffs last year. Played out in the playoffs, and it went crazy. So it could shock us to the upside with just a lot of people going off.
Yeah.
The problem I'm having right now is these 9K guys. You basically need like a 7K or less guy to get multiple studs in the lineup. Let's say it's Njoku. Who do you like more, Hooper or Njoku?
Oh, geez. Probably Hooper's probably safer. Njoku's more the GPP guy.
Remember this one game, but for the most of the season, he's been pretty mediocre. All right, let's throw Hooper in here and see how different it gets instead of Freiermuth. I prefer Freiermuth, but I want to see if that 1,500 in savings gets me anywhere. What if I go Chase and then it gets you Deontay?
There you go. That's significant.
I can switch from Chase to the Boz. Yeah. Fuck it. Right?
I like a Geek.
YOLO. All right, I'm putting it in. I think Killicam, both Bobby and I on DraftKings prefer Deontay Johnson as our favorite captain. Is that would you say that's
agreed?
True? Yeah. So both Bobby and I like Deontay as our favorite captain. Bobbywow favorite turd.
Oh man, you go first. Go first. Who's your favorite turd?
All right. So I don't dive into the turd zone too heavy on FanDuel. And I'll default to, you know what? I'll default to the DFSupNORTH pick here, and I'll go with Schwartz in the let's get a look at the young guy thing. I mean, I don't like many of the turds in this game. If I really had to be forced, but they're not priced as turds, I like the Cleveland tight ends as sort of those pay downs, but they're not priced as turds. So if I'm talking on DraftKings and I feel like it's only fair to do a sub kicker price player as a turd, I think if you're priced above the kicker, you're not a turd. So yeah, why not Anthony Schwartz? Fuck it. I went with Schwartz. What do you say?
I like it. I'm going to give you a turd and then a super turd. because I would have given you Schwartz. But
Okay.
mine would be James Washington as the turd
Okay.
and Benny Snell. as
Benny
the super turd.
Snizzles. I think that one's crazy. You could get there though.
Super turd.
JD, so to repeat what I said earlier, on FanDuel, when I play either Ben or Baker, I'm setting Ben no less than 2 of his pass catchers, including the running back at captain. And in the flex, I always set the quarterback with no less than 1, except for last night because Mannion was so cheap I didn't do that. But in general, I'll do the quarterback with no less than 1 pass catcher. So if Ben is in my flex, there is one guy that I consider a pass catcher, including Najee Harris, who catches a lot of passes in the lineup. Same thing with Baker. If Baker is in my lineup, I'm pairing him with at least 1 pass catcher. I would include Kareem Hunt, but not Nick Chubb on that list. At MVP, I think I would force. I'm not using quarterbacks on DraftKings as a captain, but on FanDuel at MVP, Bobbywow I need to defer to you on this one. My inclination is quarterback +2. Is it too much? Should we do QB +1? Both of these guys. My inclination is +2, and it's really it's trickier with Baker and all those options.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ben makes more sense to be +2. I don't know. It's just I hate limiting myself. I hate limiting myself with rules, and I understand the reasoning behind it. But yeah,
I think just 1. You're on team +1.
I think I am, Geek.
Okay.
I think I am.
Nothing wrong with it. I might shift over to your squad. I don't know. I think when I'm including the running back, it like opens it up a little bit. But QB plus, it's hard to play these guys with 2. I'm trying to think if the fact that the quarterback is cheaper than usual should affect that decision.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, Geek, last thing I'll say is this. We say it every week. Anytime you see QBs or running backs on FanDuel, 10% or lower, got to be invested. I'm taking that advice. I think if you want to get bold on this slate on FanDuel, you want to win a tournament, you're going to have to fade Chubb at MVP and play these quarterbacks.
There it is. Chubb MVP is going to be every combination is going to every combination is going to be achieved with Chubb. That's for sure. Like it's going to be hard to get unique there. And Ray, we didn't mention Ray, but Ray is like the showdown king. So you cannot do a showdown without a little Ray McLeod. I agree. Kavorka, get some Ray. Ray all of a sudden scores a touchdown. He's making your day. That's right. Threw a little pun in there. A little pun. I would not do double D and double. I am not doing that. No. I don't think this is that game. It's worked in preseason games, but I've never seen it work in a regular season NFL game. Even that 9-0, Saints game a couple of weeks ago, I don't think that worked. So maybe it did work for that one, but can't have more than one of those this season. Anyway, all right, that'll wrap it up. Where My Turds At, NFL Week 17, Monday Night Football. Back next week. There's no more the turd shows. It's gone. Bob, what are we going to do?
Sunday night. We got one left.
There is a Sunday night game?
I think. I hope. I know that there's 2 Saturday games this weekend.
2 Saturdays. Not sure of Sunday Night Football.
I thought there was.
We'll check that. No Monday
Chargers,
Nighters.
Raiders. Sunday Night Football.
There is Monday night. Okay, they did a Sunday Nighter. Okay, good. So we still have one more Sunday night game. We've got 2 showdowns on Saturday, although the sites will tend to feature one of them. I love the 2-game slate, though. It doesn't matter. Got a lot of football yet to play. So we will see you guys in the DFS Army Discord. Good luck tonight, everyone. For Bobby, for me, best of luck, everyone. We hope you fall on the best turd tonight. Good luck, everybody. Deuces.